Call of Duty Black Ops 6 releases in a couple of days, and already they've injected gender ideology into the game because nobody can simply help themselves anymore. So they've recently released a fair bit of information regarding the game, and one of the characters has, of course, been revealed as non-binary because they simply have to these days, don't they? So basically, the character is called Volta Rossi, who is a former aristocrat who left to join the Human T as a specialist, and she's got ties to a European wealthy family, and of course identifies with they them pronouns, which is interesting because, I mean, in real life and realistically, if you're a person that identifies with pronouns, I really doubt that you would be getting a gig on a special Black Ops team. You probably wouldn't pass the psych test at all. And of course, they've given her the classic square jaw that they give them all, because you can't have a biologically born looking female, especially when they identify as non-binary. You just can't have that. It just doesn't happen. I mean, even the ones that identify as female have square jaws and look like men in most new AAA releases these days. But oh well, there's another one. But I mean, we knew this was going to happen because back in 2022, they appointed this lady, Kristen Hines, as the Chief Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Officer. She still is. You can look up her LinkedIn. She's still working in that role. And she came from Accenture, which is a Dublin-based professional services company, which Fortune 500 company as well. They're quite huge. They basically consult with other companies on strategies and all that sort of stuff. And of course, her focus in that role was to be the DEI specialist for that company, because you've got to get that sweet ESG money from BlackRock like everybody's after. Basically, as it was reported back in May by Grums, this game has had basically DEI officers inserted at every level to ensure that their message is being spread. That's basically for all the Call of Duty games, which is pretty obvious by the characters and the character designs, and all the actual female that generally look like this one. They're all girl bosses. They're all people of color, of course. They have to be, and all the white women all have these horrendously square jawlines because they have to. They have to look like men. They can't just look like women. You know, look at a game like The First Descendant, which is, of course, shows women as very voluptuous and beautiful, and yeah, it is fan service, of course, but that's pandering to their audience, and their audience loves it, and they lap it up, and they spend money, and power to them. I'm not sure this is pandering to anyone in particular. I don't doubt that non-binary people and people who follow this gender ideology will play this game, but they won't play this game because of this. They'll play this game because they like Call of Duty and they like first-person shooters. It's the first Call of Duty since Microsoft acquired Activision to the tune of something like $73 or $76 billion, which is obviously, as we know, the largest gaming studio acquisition for any company in the world in history. So they can't have this game fail. But, look at what they did with Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone. Back in June, they were giving away free Pride gift packs with transgender-themed bullets. This stuff is getting ridiculous. The average age of a Call of Duty player these days is about 28 years old, and they are 95+% male. And I dare say, based on population demographics and statistics, the amount of LGBTQ people playing this game would be minute. And look, I've been around and I've known a lot of LGBT people in my time, and a lot of them, they're sick of this stuff too. They are. They just want to live their lives normally. They don't want all this stuff highlighted across all forms of media. They just want to be treated like a regular, everyday person. Every time this stuff gets injected into every form of entertainment that we've all enjoyed that never had it in the past, people get offside. People get offside by that kind of stuff. And then when you raise it as a concern, as an issue, what happens? You get called a bigot, a phobe, an ist, whatever it is. Don't ram it down people's throats because they don't want it. Are you making games, or are you making political messages under the guise of games to get through to a certain demographic, which is those young males? That's very much what it looks like. They've managed to get hold of one of the biggest and most looked forward to franchises. And look, I don't think this will be a flop by any stretch. I think this will be highly successful despite all this stuff. If you look at all the response and everything all over X, people are really looking forward to this game. To be honest, the game itself, I expect it to be pretty decent. I'm downloading it, I'll play it, I'll see how it goes. I don't really care too much about this DI crap in the game. It's annoying to see because You got to consider this game is set in an alternate history of 1991. Look, I understand they call it an alternate history where obviously non-binary people and gender ideology exists, but I'm a millennial. Okay, I wasn't that old back then, but I don't remember any of this stuff. Like, certainly wasn't at school, certainly wasn't in gaming, certainly wasn't in any form of popular media. This wasn't a thing in 1991. Hell, this wasn't even a thing 15 years ago. The fact that they've taken current day political ideology and injecting it into a period of history where it didn't exist, at least not, you know, you had to go looking for it. It didn't exist across any mainstream forms of media. It just shows that these people are, again, I would like to say out of touch, but it's obvious that they understand what they're doing. They're doing this to push a specific ideology, or they're just looking for those sweet ESG dollars, or both. Who knows? I don't think this game will flop despite all the stuff. People will complain about it. I don't like this stuff being in games, but look, it is what it is. I'm sure we'll see more pride packs and fancy rainbow stuffs. And I was thinking about this earlier. I thought, well, people have waifu skins on stuff like Rainbow Six Siege and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, that is a bit ridiculous too. And people might think it's a bit hypocritical. I just want to set the record straight on this particular thing. This is political ideology, and anime waifu guns is not political ideology. Most people who play computer games are quite into anime, manga, all that sort of stuff. When you have anime waifu guns in games, you're not injecting identity politics into games. You're literally pandering to your market audience, which makes money, which is what the whole purpose of a gaming studio is. The problem is when you let this sort of stuff in the door, this sort of stuff follows. I think there's a time and place for this kind of stuff, but probably not in first-person shooters. Like, it's very immersion breaking. I mean, look, I understand a lot of it is anyway. Look, let's be honest. There's a lot of stuff in the games that isn't realistic, but you can suspend belief to a point until you see political messages entering games. And it's, you know, we only saw World of Warcraft recently where one of the biggest streamers was doing a stream inside World of Warcraft event with Kamala Harris. Ideologies and politicians are going to find their way into different methods to target you directly. And if you don't gatekeep seriously enough, you know, it's only a matter of time before you start seeing campaign ads for politicians in games, you know, on top of normal advertising, and you'll see slogans and all that sort of stuff. Like, keep that out of it. Political messaging for real world politics doesn't belong in gaming, in my opinion. If you're just carrying a shooting game and go, here's transgender bullets, it's fucking ridiculous. Like, what are you doing? Come on, grow up. Make a different game. Just do anything else but this. That was just a little bit of a rant that I felt like going on about. What do you think? Are you going to play Black Ops 6? Are you looking forward to it? To be honest, yeah, I am. I'm looking forward to having a bit of fun. I haven't played a Call of Duty game for a fair while, so might pop up a review and see how we go. But other than that, thanks for watching, and I'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. And if you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate a like and subscribe. Bye for now.